One thing I don't hear anybody talking about lately, because I've heard a lot of people talking shit about the NFL lately. People are not too happy with the NFL. And I feel like their biggest miss of all that nobody's even bringing up is the fact that they had a golden opportunity to take the focus off of all the other shit people are pissed off about. There's a bunch of people all upset about Bad Bunny doing the halftime show, which, like, honestly, who gives a shit about the halftime show? Like, no one gives a fuck about the halftime show. It always sucks. 9 out of 10 years, it's always just, it sucks. Unless you got a prop bet on one of these celebrities showing her pussy or something, like, who gives a fuck about the halftime show aside from your mother-in-law? But people are all pissed off about it. TPUSA doing an alternate halftime show with Kid Rock and some other country singers. They're all pissed off, and the NFL could have done everybody a solid and just made the Super Bowl next weekend. Next weekend is President's Day. Most people have 3-day weekends, and everybody calls in sick on the day after the Super Bowl. It happens all the time. Everywhere I've ever worked, people call in sick. I've felt like calling in sick. I don't, because I'm an American and I go to work. You want to talk about the worst day to be in a public restroom of all time? The morning after the Super Bowl, man, I worked in gyms for years. And there was no worse morning to go in the locker room and have all these old dudes that got there early, go in the sauna and ride their bike for a couple minutes. And then before they're in there, they're just blowing up the bathroom, whiskey, beer, machine gun shits, eating nothing but processed food and fried processed food the day before, chips and dip. I love chips and dip too. No disrespect to the chips and dip, but these guys are just blowing the entire place up. I know that shit happens everywhere. It happens at the place I work during the day now. Is I work at a medical clinic doing like stem cell stuff, and there's all these older folks that come in, God bless them, but I mean, just think, if you're 35, how much your stomach already can't tolerate eating shitty like it could when you're younger. Imagine being 75, man. These people's stomachs are fucked up. They go in there and they just destroy the bathroom. I mean, it sounds like they're just got done running wind sprints while they're taking a shit. Scary as fuck. You're worried about these people. You go in to wash your hands. There's been a couple times I went in to go to the bathroom and I'm like, oh, dude, I guess I'm gonna have to figure something else out. It's so goddamn bad. They could have saved everybody all this trouble. Think about the janitors, dude. Janitors and custodians, talk about the worst day of work ever. I bet there is no worse day in a janitor's life. Janitor, custodian, I don't know if that's, I don't know which one's the right one. I'm not sure if it's like the whole midget little people thing or not, but either way, but it's got to be the worst goddamn day. Honestly, if you work at a place where you got a janitor or custodian, somebody cleans up that shit, I think that you need to go fucking give them a pat on the back, maybe buy them a gift. It's almost Valentine's Day. You go down and give him one of them little like heart card things or something, and chocolates, something. Give the guy $5, talk his wife into giving him a blowjob, anything for these guys to help him out, because that has got to be, I cannot imagine being a janitor or a custodian after the Super Bowl, man. I mean, we need to, on behalf of all the people who are out there, because I know they're not going to apologize. This message to the janitors and custodians. Guys, I am sorry that you have to deal with the vast majority of our country and the way they eat, man. Because how they eat on a normal day, I can only imagine what the fuck these people are eating during the Super Bowl. It's got to be way worse than some chips and dip. Probably not as bad as all these celebrities eating babies, huh, guys? But they missed it, dude. And now people are just going to be pissed off about the halftime show. Frankly, dude, whatever happened to all the girls doing the playing football in the lingerie at the halftime? That's the kind of halftime show they need to have. Why is goddamn TPUSA's don't? I hope they still do that. I'm gonna look and see if that's on this year. That was awesome. That's probably the best halftime that you could imagine. Instead, I don't know why the fuck would anybody watch J-Lo and Shakira. Not to say they're not hot. They're still doing a good job for how old they are and stuff. But if you could just watch a bunch of girls playing football in their underwear, why would you not do that? That's crazy. Why don't they do that at the Super Bowl instead of just bringing in old people to play music or someone controversial? I don't get it. And with how the tensions are for shit right now, I'm telling you what, there was a protest across the street from my house at the high school. All these kids, I guess they were, probably a lot of them went because they just didn't want to, be called a racist by the other kids. And the other part is just a good reason to skip the last class on a Friday. My daughter went and picked some of her friends up at it. She said she went for a bit. Didn't really want to tell me at first because she was running late for some things. She went to the protest. She admitted that she went because she had shit to do. It wasn't exactly convenient for her to go, but she didn't want to be called a racist. She is the daughter of someone who migrated here. Dude. Her mom's an immigrant. And thank God she is too. This little girl, like, she's the coolest motherfucker in the world. I love her more than anything. And her mom's incredible, a wonderful person, her stepdad, but I'm going to be watching the Super Bowl with them. And the idea that she'd have to be worried about being called a racist when her mom's an immigrant and people are protesting immigration is fucking insane. I find it a little bit irritating, to be real. If someone calls her a racist, I told her, I'll tell them, listen, fuck you. My mom's an immigrant, okay? And I'm sure it'd probably be just, one of the white kids that was trying not to be racist themselves, thought they're being smart, but it is absolutely insane. And that's what they always want to make this kind of shit about, man. The immigration thing. There's some people that are just racist for sure, but they're causing problems with race in all kinds of areas besides that. The whole immigration thing, it's a nuanced subject, but it's not all about race. They make it about race so that they can make people emotional. It's a hot button topic. It scares people. No one wants to be a racist. And if you can get people all emotional about shit, they're a lot more easy to control. When people are emotional, they don't make as logical decisions as when they're not emotional, when they're calm. And so when you can get people to make decisions with less logic, you could get them to do stupid shit and control them. It's very simple. It's a very divisive subject. And so divide and conquer. This is how power structures have controlled people since the beginning of time. But I don't think anybody wants to see someone who's been here 20 years and been a good person and stuff to get just shipped out, man. I don't want that to happen to anybody. I don't want it to happen to any of my friends' parents or sisters or brothers but there's also a reason that they're shipping some of them out. Some of them are criminals. I heard someone ask why we even have borders. What? Like, why do you have a door on your house, motherfucker? So that nobody comes in and steals your shit and rapes your family and then kills your ass, like, to keep you safe. That's why you have it. Don't you want to know who's inside your house? Of course you do. You're not just going to open the door for anyone. And if you do, chances are something bad's going to happen eventually. Tragedy happens. That's why you have borders, and that is why you try to make sure they're good people that are coming in here. So that way they don't come in here and cause a bunch of problems. If they're on the run, if they committed a bunch of crimes out there, or even just in general, if they have a completely different value system, if they're from a place that's a third world country, and they have not figured out how to not be a third world country based on their cultural customs or moral systems, values, then what the fuck makes you think that it's going to be any better here if you bring in large quantities of people? It causes chaos. You want people to have the same value system so you can continue to function as a society. There's many arguments on why morality exists, but a big truth about it is that we have adapted a moral framework to live together easier in society, because the more of us that all get along, the better chance we all have of surviving and living. We evolved to be that way. And so you can't just bring people in who have different values, and you don't want to send people out on their ass or back to a place that sucks, especially when they're awesome and they provide value to the community, aren't bugging nobody. And I'm not entirely sure what the answer is, but I'll tell you this, dude. One thing I don't hear that I think gets overlooked as well is the fact that, accountability is an important thing. And I'll tell you what, if you have someone in your life that you are worried about getting sent out, and they've been here 20 years, 15, 10 years, fuck, why have you never done anything to make sure that they were set up so they didn't have to worry about this shit? Like, I know that if my family, if my mom or someone I love was just kind of like not paying their taxes or fucking up somehow, I would like to think that I would be like, hey, mom, Why don't we get this shit taken care of? Why don't we figure it out so nothing bad happens? But I don't hear anybody being like, fuck, we should really made sure grandma, like, we got her citizenship stuff taken care of. No, man, you have responsibilities to the people you love. Instead, they just say everybody's racist. People should just be allowed. You got to take care of your shit, man. We all do. And I'm sure things would go a lot better for people if they're like, well, part of it's my fault. I know I should have done this a long time ago. If that was even a conversation, people would be, I think, a little bit more compassionate than they're being, but that's not the conversation. It seems like accountability has just never been lower. I don't hear a ton of people taking accountability for much these days. And that could be a hard thing to do when across the board, people are telling everybody else that nothing's their fault. It's not a woman's fault. It's a man's fault for why she don't have the life she wants. It's not this person's fault who happens to be this particular race. It's all this other race's fault. It's not your fault you're fat. It's your genetics. It's the food industry. It's sad. People should just have to be attracted to you. They're a piece of shit if they're not. It's not just like a physical thing. You get to choose who you're attracted to. What the fuck are you talking about, man? When you remove accountability and you go telling people that it's not their fault for their circumstances in their life, you remove their power to change their circumstances in life, period. Some people get a better start than others. Some people get all the luck, as they say, right? People are born with different gifts. Some people are born athletic. Some people are born with a family that had money. Some people are born a particular race that has had it easier in a particular country or a different religion. Some people are born smart. Some people are born with parents that love them. And you could argue that might be the best of all of them. You're a lot more likely to have success in a lot of other areas and not end up someone that just blows their own fucking head off because they took too many antidepressants or just made a bunch of bad decisions because they had no leadership in life. But nobody looks at that. They look at these other things because it's easier to divide people and take their power away. I feel like the craziest part of this whole protest is my daughter tells me, she says, you wouldn't believe some of the signs and stuff that were out there. And I was like, what'd they say? She says one of the signs said, don't let history repeat itself. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Don't let history repeat itself. I mean, I assume they're referring to racism, right? But the most racist part of our country's history is clearly slavery. And this is the shit that's going on with immigration has been pretty much the exact opposite of slavery. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you went back in time and you told all the people that were slaves, yo, dude, get the fuck out, they'd have been like, say less, motherfucker. Without a doubt. What are you talking about? Don't let history repeat itself. Maybe that's frankly the solution to the whole immigration thing is the people who are criminals and instead of kicking them out, they just got to work and not get paid like the rest of the American population who's paying for all the fraud and shit that's been going on. So anyways, she tells me, Dad, you wouldn't have believed how crazy it was out there. She's like, people are all yelling. She's like, even the adults, they're getting all pissed off and they're flipping the kids off. She's like, I just couldn't believe it. And I was like, what? I'm like, this is the exact reason that people have lost the ability to critically think. I feel like it's been going on for a long time. I think it started with parents not talking to their kids and teaching them how to question things and determine what is true and being too busy on their fucking phones, just distracted in general. And that's the perfect example of it, is you got a bunch of kids out here protesting, probably a lot of them, again, not knowing why they're protesting. They're just doing it to not be racist when they shouldn't have to worry about that shit. And then you got the adults just flipping the kids off. I mean, these are the people that are they're supposed to have the life experience. They're supposed to be able to share wisdom, to teach, to listen and not be all emotionally triggered. They're supposed to be in control and they're flipping the kids off. And so now the kids, they ain't going to listen to them. If someone flips you off, you're not exactly like, oh, well, tell me what else you think. Of course not. And so they get their news or their information. They develop their belief systems and what they think is true and not true from some other motherfucker who got flipped off that just got on TikTok first. And it is insane. And people wonder why there's so much fighting and shit going on. People don't know how to question things properly. These kids don't know how to use the Socratic method to determine what's true, what's not true. How do you know that those are facts? Where did you get them from? A website? Who owned the website? Who stands to benefit from these things? Who stands to not benefit from these things? These are important questions to ask when you're looking at information on social media or the news or anything else. And these kids don't learn that, just as most people don't. Not even kids. Like, they just look at their goddamn computer or X or Instagram and be like, oh yeah, that sounds right. No way. And just repost the fucking shit. And then these things get spread around that half the time most people don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. People don't read the whole article. They don't look to see if the video that looked bad was taken out of context and watch the other hour of it. They just look at the headline and read a couple subtitles from the video and develop what they believe is true and not true about the world around them. It is absolutely insane. Blame parents, man, 100%. I'm telling you what, man, if you're a parent and your kid is trying to talk to you and you're sitting there just trying to get some pussy up in some girl's DMs or something, if you're a dad, if you're a mom and you're taking your 40th selfie just to try to have someone tell you what a goddamn queen you are, you need to shut your fucking phone off and talk to your kid. Unless you're one of these other dumb motherfuckers, in which case probably just, I don't know, take your chances with TikTok. At any rate, moral of the story is the NFL fucked up and they should have put the Super Bowl next weekend on Veterans Day. None of this would have happened otherwise. Well, a lot of shit we were discussing would have, but you wouldn't have had to listen to me, go off on that if they hadn't just done that, because I was kind of out of ideas at the moment. So I feel like it was pretty good. Like and subscribe, guys. That's the thing that's the thing the kids say, right? Like and subscribe. Especially if you like this one, I cannot guarantee that it is like, we might have reached a high point. And if you weren't sure about it, listen, like and subscribe anyway, because I can promise you it's going to get better. I'm 100% sure. I'm going to do some more fancy editing and stuff. I'm old. It's hard to figure that shit out. It's not really that hard, but it takes a lot of patience is the problem. It feels good to get this done, man. I've been planning on getting this done for forever. I've known I needed to get it done, and I just hadn't done it. And it's been kind of weighing on me because I'm creating this thing so people will see the reels that I post in my stand-up comedy. I've known I needed to do this for a while because I live in Reno, and it's pretty hard to get seen and do stand-up for a living in fucking Reno. So you got to find another way for people to see you outside of here, because I love my little girl, man. I don't want to move away from her. I got to figure out a way to make it happen by other means. So like and subscribe, please. If you're my friend and you're watching this shit and do not subscribe, you buddy, okay? We are fighting. And then if you subscribe later, I'll forgive you, okay? Because I'm a very loving, forgiving person. But if you have not subscribed, if you just click off this shit and you don't subscribe, fuck you, buddy. See you guys next time.